Boyfriend treats me completely different to how we first started dating. Says it was just honeymoon period, my BF. 35 male, of 1 year, and I, 28 female, started dating very quickly after we met. It was a very intense, loving, and serious relationship quickly. He was the perfect guy. I really felt he was my person. Down the line, we ended up having various arguments. I feel as couples do, due to our financial and living situations, which meant we didn't have our own space. We put the arguments down to this stress, which I agree was the case. During this time, he was still always verbally and physically very affectionate and very adamant that he wanted to get engaged soon, saying it was the first thing he would do when he saved up enough cash. I had not even considered marriage to someone before, but I really internalized these expectations based on his enthusiasm for it. He did actually plan to leave the UK anyway. I was the one that said, "I am down and let's go to Japan." He has told me he has had marriage offers before, but never took them or considered them and only has thought about it with me. I don't have savings, so it's not possible for me to randomly just pack up and leave my parents' home. Plus, if you are my partner and have significantly more money than me and want me to travel with you, I do feel you should accommodate me. I offered when we settle somewhere with a visa, I can also pick up some work. Now, we moved abroad with each other 4 months ago. At that point, together about 8 months. Almost every day since we have been living together, there has been an argument. It's been even worse than when we were living apart. I do feel for him as he went through a lot of stressful change to get us to move abroad and needed time to decompress after. However, the crux of the arguments is that I feel he treats me so differently now. When I tell you he was completely all over me before, and now sometimes doesn't even make eye contact, it's a total difference. I have tried to upkeep the same tempo of the relationship from my side, as I still feel the same butterflies for him, and obviously he had me smitten with how well he treated me during the first few months. The intimacy slowed down, so did all the smaller non-sexual things like hugging in public, etc., etc. You know, all the small strokes and touches. I have told him I want more from him physically and emotionally like before, as it feels like such a sudden drop in both. I'm struggling to adjust to this new tempo. It really triggers my anxiety, which I never ever have had in a relationship. Based on the expectations he set, I also thought we would be getting engaged soon after moving abroad. When I brought it up, he told me not to nag him, but it was him insisting on it in the first place. I also separately brought up that his behavior feels really different from the start of us. And he said, "It was a honeymoon period, it is normal to change." I feel really hurt and anxious that someone who was so super lovey-dovey with me, I now have to fight for basic communication with and physical touch. I also don't agree that a honeymoon period is just 2 months and then sudden cold switch. He claims to still love me. I do believe it. He says all of his work and financial stress he is under now is to make a life for us, which I also believe. However, the total switch up and not meeting my emotional or physical needs is completely messing with my head, and I am starting antidepressants this week. I feel so heartbroken, even though he claims to love me still, and we are together. I feel his behavior comes from the weight of some unresolved conflicts we had through the year, which were nothing like cheating, etc. And I thought we resolved them, but his behavior says otherwise. He insists it's just the natural flow of relationships to lose some desire. Should I continue being patient with him, or is there another way to approach this change in behavior? I got a one-way ticket home last week, so back in the UK now. He wanted me to stay and/or book a return ticket, but I felt so emotionally insecure and unsafe, neglected, that I wasn't sure about coming back to him. This has further pissed him off as we were supposed to be in this move abroad, together. I want to go back, but I don't think I can mentally take the sadness of lack of affection and emotional recognition. What should I do? TLDR, My 28 female boyfriend, 35 male, and I had a fast, intense start. He was affectionate, talked about marriage, and made me feel deeply loved. We moved abroad after 8 months together, and since then, arguments have become constant, and his affection has dropped drastically. He says it's stress and the end of the honeymoon phase, but I feel emotionally neglected and anxious, especially after the expectations he set. He still claims to love me and is working for our future, but I feel heartbroken and unsure if I should keep being patient or address the change more firmly.